The huge chamber on Nexus Prime looked like a sky full of stars trapped inside a dome. Thousands of glowing banners hung from the walls. Each banner showed the colors and symbols of more than 300 alien species. Soft blue and green lights moved across the ceiling like slow waves. The air smelled clean, almost too clean, with a faint sweet scent from the ventilation system. In the center stood a round platform made of dark polished stone. Today only one person used it. Ambassador Elena Vasquez from Earth stood straight and still. She wore a simple gray uniform with the small blue and white Earth emblem on her chest. Her black hair was tied back neatly. Her face showed no anger, no fear, just calm. Around her in rising rows of seats sat the delegates of the Galactic Council. Tall Krellians with thick blue scales and sharp crests on their heads. Small Vexar in shiny black shells that clicked when they moved. Tall crystal beings called preservers, whose bodies sparkled like broken glass under the lights. Hundreds more species filled the seats, some with feathers, some with tentacles, some floating in gas clouds inside clear tanks. For 3 hours they had talked about humans. Again, the same old topic. Human expansion must be controlled. Humans breed too fast. Humans fight too hard in border zones. Humans do not follow proper council rules. A Krellian delegate named Torv Kal stood up. His voice came loud through the translators. These humans think small victories in the outer sectors make them strong. They are wrong. Their ships are loud and dirty. Their soldiers act like wild animals. We should limit their access to trade lanes even more. Many delegates made agreeing sounds. Some tapped claws or tentacles on their seats. A Vexar speaker rose next. Its mandibles clicked fast. Humans clean our stations. They fix broken machines. They carry low-value cargo. This is their proper place. Nothing more. Laughter spread through parts of the chamber. Not kind laughter. Then a preserver spoke. Its voice sounded like clear bells. We suggest new rules. Earth itself should be marked Class 4 hazard. No new visitors without heavy escort. Their world is unstable. Their people are unpredictable. More nods. More translator hums of agreement. Elena Vasquez listened to every word. She did not move. Her hands stayed relaxed at her sides. When the last speaker sat down, the council leader, a tall, thin creature with 6 eyes named Chairman Zeth, turned toward the human podium. Ambassador Vasquez, the floor is yours. Speak for your species. Elena stepped forward one small step. She looked straight ahead, not at any one delegate. Her voice came clear and even. The translators carried it to every seat and every listening device across council space. People of the Galactic Council, for more than 90 Earth years, humans have sat in this chamber. We listened. We followed most of your rules. We traded. We helped. We shared what we could. We asked for simple things in return. Equal voice, fair trade terms, basic respect. She paused for 2 seconds. You gave us insults instead. You called our victories barbaric. You called our workers dirty. You called our home a danger zone. You made new rules every cycle to hold us back, while other species grew free. A low murmur started in the seats. Some delegates looked uncomfortable. Others looked angry. Elena continued without raising her voice. We tried words. Words did not work. So today, Earth gives its final answer. She lifted one hand. A small silver disc rested in her palm. She pressed it once. Across the galaxy, the same message appeared on every council screen, every embassy wall, every ship console with a human link. They were final. Effective immediately, the United Terran Concordance terminates all diplomatic relations with the Galactic Council. We withdraw all ambassadors. We close all consulates. We suspend all treaties and agreements. Every human citizen, worker, trader, scientist, teacher, and visitor now leaves council space. All human personnel have 72 standard hours to depart. After that time, no human will answer any council message. No human will accept any council request. No further communication will be sent or received. Elena lowered her hand. The silver disc went dark. She looked once around the chamber. Her eyes met no one for long. Then she turned and walked down the short steps from the podium. The chamber stayed quiet for almost 10 full seconds. No one moved. No one spoke. Then the silence broke. Shouts exploded from every side. Translators could not keep up. Krellian roars mixed with Vexar high screams and Preserver bell-like alarms. Tentacles waved, wings flapped, lights on communication panels flashed red. "Impossible," a Krellian bellowed. "They cannot do this," a Vexar chattered. "Who will maintain the outer relays?" someone cried. Chairman Seth banged his staff on the floor many times. The sound echoed, but did not stop the noise. Elena kept walking. She passed between rows of seats. Delegates stared at her. Some reached out as if to grab her arm, but pulled back. She did not look left or right. She reached the wide exit doors. They opened silently for her. Just before she stepped through, she stopped. She turned her head slightly. One last sentence. Quiet. Clear. 72 hours. Not 1 minute more. The doors closed behind her. Inside the chamber, the chaos grew louder. Delegates shouted at each other. Some tried to call human embassies on their personal links. Others pulled up trade records and stared at the numbers in growing fear. On 1,000 worlds far away, human workers heard the message at the same moment. Engineers shut down tools. Doctors finished current patients and packed bags. Traders closed market stalls. Teachers said goodbye to alien children. Pilots warmed ship engines. No anger in their movements, no rush, just calm, orderly work. Everything done exactly as planned. 72 hours. The clock had started. In the great chamber on Nexus Prime, the glowing banners still floated, but now they looked dimmer. The clean air felt colder. The delegates kept shouting, but their voices sounded smaller against the empty podium where the human had stood. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council felt something new. Across 1,000 worlds, the change started quietly. No explosions, no alarms, no angry crowds, just silence where humans used to be. On the busy trade hub of Vara Station, the human section had always been easy to spot. Bright lights, loud music from small speakers, smells of hot food, spicy noodles, grilled meat, sweet fried dough. Humans laughed a lot. They talked fast. They fixed things quickly when machines broke. At exactly the moment Elena Vasquez finished speaking on Nexus Prime, every human on Vara Station received the order. They did not panic. They did not argue. They simply began to leave. Mechanics in greasy coveralls shut off welding torches and packed tool belts. Nurses in hospital wings finished changing bandages, wrote quick notes for the next shift, then walked out with small bags. Teachers closed classroom doors after saying calm goodbyes to wide-eyed alien children. Market sellers folded their stalls, loaded crates onto small carts, and pushed them toward the docking bays. A young Vexar worker named Click 7 watched from the shadows. He had worked beside a human engineer named Marco for 3 cycles. Marco always shared his lunch. Marco taught him Earth jokes that did not translate well, but still made Click 7's mandibles twitch in amusement. Now Marco stood at the airlock, checking names on a tablet. He looked up and saw Click 7. "Hey, little bug," Marco said with a small smile. "Take care of the coolant lines, okay? They leak if you don't tighten the 3rd bolt just right." Click 7 clicked softly. You are really leaving? All of you?" Marco nodded. "All of us. Council's rules. Our rules now." "But who fixes things?" Marco shrugged. "That's your problem now." He stepped through the airlock. The door closed with a soft hiss. Click 7 stared at the empty corridor. For the first time, he noticed how quiet it was, without human voices. Similar scenes played out everywhere. On the ocean moon of Thaler 9, human biologists who studied glowing sea creatures packed their diving gear and sample cases. They left the underwater labs exactly as they found them. Lights on, filters running, data logs backed up and labeled clearly. No mess, no broken equipment, just gone. In the crowded shipyards of Corin Prime, human welders climbed down from scaffolding. They coiled cables, stacked tools, wiped oil from their hands. The Krellian foremen shouted questions. The humans did not answer. They walked to the waiting shuttles in neat lines. One Krellian supervisor named Vraktor grabbed a human arm. "You cannot leave. The new dreadnought frame needs another week of work." The human, a short woman with red hair, looked at his claw politely until he let go. "The rest is yours." She joined the line. The shuttle door closed. Engines hummed. The ship lifted away. Vraktor stared at the half-finished hull. It looked bigger now that the small human figures were missing. 72 hours is not long, but humans used every minute well. On pleasure moons and resort worlds, human entertainers finished their last shows. Musicians played one final song. Dancers took their bows. Then they packed costumes and instruments and left without asking for extra pay or tips. In universities on crystal worlds, human professors gave no dramatic farewell lectures. They simply erased their names from the teaching schedules, locked their offices, and walked to the spaceport. The strangest thing was the order. No one ran, no one pushed, no one stole or broke anything on purpose. Humans left behind clean rooms, working machines, full fuel tanks, stocked warehouses. They even paid their last utility bills on many stations. Council intelligence officers watched the feeds in growing confusion. A preserver analyst named Lyra Vaughn stared at screens that showed empty human embassies. They are not sabotaging. They are cleaning up after themselves. A Krellian officer snorted. "They mock us. This is a trick." But no trick appeared. No hidden bombs. No computer viruses. Just absence. The first cracks showed on day 2. A freight line that carried medical supplies to the outer rim lost half its ships overnight. The human captains sent one short message to each client. Service terminated per concordance directive. Then, their transponders went dark. A fusion plant on the mining colony of Drac 4 began to show warning lights. The human technicians who knew the old Mark 7 reactors had left precise manuals on the control desk. Open to the right page, bookmarks in place. But no human stayed to explain the notes in person. The Vexar hive mind calculated quietly. Their shared thoughts raced through the network. Supply chains, 62% human carriers. Maintenance contracts, 41% human teams. Emergency repair response, 73% human vessels closest. Time to first major failure without human support, estimated 14 to 47 standard days. The number felt wrong. Too short. Too real. On Nexus Prime, emergency meetings started in small side rooms. Delegates whispered instead of shouted now. A Vexar diplomat clicked nervously. "We must contact them. Offer better terms." A Krellian growled. "We do not beg humans." But others were already trying. Ambassadors sent messages to human ships still in transit. No reply. Personal channels to human friends. No reply. Even old private comm codes that worked for years. Silence. By hour 60, the panic changed flavor. It was no longer loud anger. It was cold worry. On a luxury liner carrying rich preservers, the human crew, pilots, cooks, cleaners, left at the next station. The ship's auto systems took over, but the smooth human service was gone. Passengers complained. No one fixed the small problems. No one cared. A small Vexar child on a school station asked its teacher, "Where did the humans go?" The teacher had no answer. At hour 71, the last human shuttle left Nexus Prime's outer dock. Inside sat Elena Vasquez. She looked out the window at the glowing council station. Her face stayed calm. A young aide beside her asked quietly, "Do you think they understand yet?" Elena shook her head. "Not yet, but they will." The shuttle jumped away, its beacon blinked once, then vanished from council sensors. Exactly at hour 72, every human link went dead. No more pings, no more signals, no more chatter on trade channels. The great human web that held so much of the galaxy together simply stopped. In the council chamber, delegates gathered again. The banners still glowed, but the light felt weaker. The seats felt emptier. Chairman Zeth spoke in a low voice. "We have 70% of our frontier hospitals run by human staff. They are gone. We have 40% of our long-haul cargo moved by human ships. They are gone. We have 23 shared defense outposts where humans provided the main engineers. They are gone." He looked around the room. And they left everything in perfect order. No revenge, no destruction, just nothing. A quiet voice came from the back. A young delegate from a small species called the Miri. "They did not need us," she said. "We needed them." The words hung in the air. No one argued. Outside, the stars looked the same, but the galaxy already felt smaller. Quieter. The humans were gone, and the clock kept ticking toward the first failure. The emergency session started in a small side room on Nexus Prime. Only 20 delegates came. The big chamber felt too empty now. The glowing banners still hung, but no one looked at them. Everyone stared at screens and datapads. Faces looked tight. Hands moved fast. Chairman Zeth sat at the head of the long table. His 6 eyes blinked slowly. He spoke first. "We need facts, not guesses. Show us the real numbers." A preserver analyst named Lyra Vaughn stood up. Her crystal body caught the light and sent small rainbows across the walls. She touched a control panel. A large hologram appeared above the table. Lines, charts, and figures glowed in blue and red. "First," she said, "shipping. Humans moved 62% of all council trade volume last cycle. Not just small packages. Bulk ore, medical supplies, rare elements, luxury goods. When their ships left, they took their routes with them. No other species can match their speed or fuel use." A Krellian delegate named Torv Kal made a low growl. "We have our own fleets." Lyra Vaughn changed the hologram. New lines appeared. "Your fleets carry 14%. Vexar carry 11%. The rest is smaller species. Together, you cover less than half of what humans did, and your ships use 38% more fuel for the same distance." Torv Kal's crest flattened. He said nothing. "Next," Lyra Vaughn continued, "maintenance and engineering. Humans held contracts for 38% of core infrastructure, fusion plants, jump gates, orbital docks, life support on stations. They wrote the repair codes for many systems we use every day." She zoomed in on a map of council space. Red dots showed human-maintained sites. The dots covered wide areas like a net. These sites still run, for now. Humans left good manuals. They left spare parts in neat boxes. They labeled everything. But when something new breaks, something not in the manuals, no one knows the quick fix. Humans always knew the quick fix. A Vexar delegate clicked its mandibles fast. "We can learn. We are many. They are few." Lyra Vaughn shook her head slowly. "That is the next number. Population and growth." The hologram shifted again. It showed Earth as a small blue dot. Then colony worlds appeared around it, one by one, faster and faster. Earth started with one world. In 90 years, humans added 47 full colonies. Each one has cities, factories, shipyards, farms. Each one grows its own food and makes its own weapons. Each one builds its own ships. She pointed at the growth line. It went up steep. They add one new industrialized world every 11 months. Not outposts, full worlds, with billions of people. Our best species adds one world every 40 years. Someone whispered a word that did not translate well. Now the worst part, Lyravan said. Military. Many delegates leaned forward. They had always laughed at human ships. Small, boxy, painted in bright colors, engines too loud, weapons too simple. Lyravan brought up new images, old council reports, pieces of data stolen or bought over years. Humans never showed full specs. They said adequate for peacekeeping. We believed them. She pulled up a list. Human shipyards built 1,800 new hulls in the last 20 years. We thought that number included civilian ships. It did not. That was warships only. Gasps filled the room. Next, their fusion torch drives. Council science says maximum efficiency is 84%. Humans reach 97%. Every test we ran said it was impossible. Yet their ships do it every day. Torvkal stood up. His scales looked darker. Lies. Sensors lie. Lyravan did not answer with words. She showed a video. A human frigate accelerating away from a joint outpost. The speed climbed, then climbed again. Numbers on the screen broke every known limit. The video ended. Silence came back. And defenses, she said quietly. Every human colony has its own shipyards, its own factories, its own training grounds. They do not share one central command like we do. Each world can fight alone, and win alone. A small Miri delegate spoke in a soft voice. They never needed the council for protection. Lyravan nodded. Correct. They joined for trade, for contact, for knowledge, not for safety. Chairman Zeth rubbed his long fingers together. So we were not containing them, we were slowing them. Yes, Lyravan said, and they led us, for decades. The hologram changed one more time. It showed a simple line across council space, a wide corridor that led straight from Earth toward the galactic core. Human colonies sat along that line like beads on a string. A preserver elder stood slowly. His crystal body dimmed a little. We built our greatest cities along their expansion path. We placed our best trade stations there. We thought we were generous. We gave them space near us. He looked at the others. They were not near us. We were near them. The elder sat down. No one spoke for a long minute. Torvkal finally broke the quiet. His voice sounded smaller than before. What happens when the first plant fails? When the first hospital runs out of medicine? When the first trade lane goes empty? Lyravan closed the hologram. The room felt darker without it. 14 to 47 days. That is our estimate before serious problems start. After that, we do not know. A Vexar worker clicked nervously. We must talk to them. Send a message. Offer anything. Chairman Zeth looked at the empty doorway where humans used to enter. They said no more messages. They said 72 hours. That time is gone. He stood up. His tall body looked heavy now. We ignored the numbers for too long. We laughed at their manners. We called them primitive. We set rules to keep them small. He looked around the table. Now the numbers speak for themselves, and humans are silent. Outside the small room, the great chamber waited. Empty seats, quiet air. The banners still floated, but their colors looked pale. In the distance, a single sensor ping came through. A council scout ship near the old neutral zone. The report appeared on Zeth's pad. Human buoys had gone dark. No more free data, no more warnings, just silence. And beyond that silence, something moved, something big, something fast. The scout sent one last image before its signal cut off. A ring of construction arms, kilometers wide. Ships sliding out of dry docks like eggs from a nest. Too many, too quick. The image froze on the pad. Zeth stared at it. The galaxy had always thought humans were new, young, weak. Now the numbers told a different story. Humans had been polite. That politeness was over, and the council had no idea what came next. 96 hours after the last human left, the frontier turned quiet in a way no one expected. The neutral zone had always buzzed with data. Sensor buoys shared traffic reports, weather warnings for jump points, pirate alerts, even friendly messages between ships. Now those buoys went dark one by one. Their lights blinked out like candles in the wind. A council scout ship, the Light of Zethar, moved close to the old border. Its captain, a careful preserver named Valor, watched the screens. Empty. No pings, no friendly beacons, just black space where information used to flow. "Send a probe," Valor ordered. The small drone launched. It flew straight for the nearest human monitoring station. The station looked the same from far away. Smooth metal sphere, solar panels spread like wings, small antenna array. But when the probe got closer, lights flashed red along its hull. A calm voice came through the scout speakers. Human voice. Polite. "This system is under United Terran Concordance Administration. Entry without express invitation is prohibited. Weapons lock protocols are now active. Probe trajectory will be terminated in 10 seconds if course is not reversed." The probe tried to send data back. Nothing went through. A thin beam of light touched it. The drone sparked once and went silent. Its pieces drifted away slowly. Valor stared at the empty screen. They turned the welcome lights into warning lights. Word spread fast. Other scout ships reported the same. Polite messages, clear boundaries, no insults, no threats of attack. Just facts, and weapons locks that felt very real. On Nexus Prime, analysts pulled up old maps. The neutral zone had been a wide strip between council space and human space. Humans had never pushed hard against it. They traded across it. They shared data. They let council ships pass for joint exercises. Now that strip looked different. Every human world along the edge had activated its own defense grid. Automated stations, missile batteries, laser arrays, sensor nets that reached farther than council models allowed. Ships that had once looked small and colorful now moved in tight formations. Their engines glowed brighter than before. Their turns were sharper. Their speed felt wrong. A Krellian tactical officer named Garv Kesh watched live feed from a hidden drone. He had fought in 3 border wars. He knew ship movement. He knew patterns. He felt sick. "Those are not the same ships we saw in joint patrols," he said. His voice shook a little. "They hid the good ones. These are the real fleet." The feed showed a human carrier, long, flat, with bays that opened like flower petals. Fighters poured out. Not dozens, hundreds. They formed a perfect sphere around the carrier in seconds. No wasted motion, no chatter on open channels. Garv Kesh sat down hard. "We thought their doctrine was simple. Charge, fight close, die brave. This is art." Back on Nexus Prime, a small trade delegation had been stuck on a human station when the deadline hit. They could not leave fast enough. The humans had kept them safe, fed them, let them use comms. Then, quietly, moved them to a neutral jump point and said goodbye. One delegate, a Vexar named Tick-14, recorded everything. When he finally reached council space, he played the last message for the emergency council. A human admiral appeared on screen. Tall, gray hair, calm eyes, no smile, no frown. "We asked for respect," the admiral said. "You gave us contempt. We asked for partnership. You gave us quotas. Now we give you silence. Enjoy it while it lasts." The screen went black. Tick 14 looked at the delegates. They did not shout. They did not threaten. They just stated facts. And left. The room felt colder. Days passed. More reports came in. A council cargo convoy tried to use an old trade lane near human space. They sent the usual clearance codes. No answer. They moved closer. A single human frigate appeared on sensors. It did not fire. It simply matched speed and course. Its weapons stayed cold, but locked. A voice came over the convoy channel. Turn back. This lane is closed to non-Terran traffic until further notice. The convoy captain argued. We have emergency medical supplies for. Turn back, the voice repeated. Same tone, no anger. Or be considered hostile. The convoy turned. No shots, no chase. Just the quiet pressure of a ship that could end them in seconds if it wanted. Stories like that spread. Traders whispered in bars. Ship crews talked in mess halls. Everyone noticed the same thing. Humans did not gloat. They did not celebrate. They simply enforced new rules. Quietly, efficiently, without waste. On a mining world called Pharaon 6, close to the border, workers watched from the surface. A human battle group appeared in orbit one morning. Not to invade, not to demand tribute. They simply deployed new sensor platforms. Small black spheres that floated into place like seeds on wind. One worker, a young Miri, pointed up. What are they doing? An older worker answered, marking their line. No one crosses without asking now. The platform started broadcasting. Simple message on every frequency. Terran space begins here. Approach vector must be cleared in advance. Hostile intent will be met with proportional response. No insults, no boasts. Just the line drawn. Council spies tried to send drones deeper. Most vanished. A few returned with footage that made commanders sweat. Huge shipyards. Rings of construction arms stretching kilometers. New hulls sliding out every few hours. Not rushed, not sloppy. Perfect. Clean. Fast. One leaked image showed a dreadnought fresh from the yard. Its hull shone silver and black. Engines tested once. Bright white flare that lit the dark like a new sun. Then silence again. Analysts ran numbers. Production rate impossible by council standards, yet there it was. A Vexar hive mind analyst shared a cold thought with its cluster. They were never behind us. We were living in the shadow of their future. Panic grew in quiet ways now. Not loud shouts in chambers, not angry speeches. Small things. Delegates checked personal accounts. Trade profits dropping. Supply deliveries late. Hospital reports showing empty beds where human doctors used to stand. A preserver child asked its parent, "Why don't the humans come back?" The parent had no good answer. On Nexus Prime, Chairman Zeth walked the empty corridors alone at night. He passed the human embassy wing. Doors sealed. Lights off. A small sign still hung on the wall. United Terran Concordance, closed until further notice. He touched the door. Cold metal. In the silence, he understood something new. The galaxy had not lost allies. It had lost guardians who had never asked to be thanked. And now those guardians had stepped back. The frontier stayed dark. The silence grew heavier. And somewhere beyond the line, human ships moved in patterns no council mind could fully read. Waiting. Not angry, just ready. 6 months passed, like a slow, cold breath across the galaxy. The great chamber on Nexus Prime looked different now. Many seats stayed empty. Dust collected on the arms of chairs that once held loud delegates. The glowing banners still floated near the ceiling, but their lights had dimmed. Some had gone dark completely. The air felt thinner, as if the room itself missed the voices that used to fill it. Only about 100 species still sent representatives. The others had fallen silent. Some suffered too much to travel. Their economies broke. Their ships sat empty in docks. Their people waited in lines for food that never came on time. Others simply disappeared from council records. They turned inward. They closed borders. They stopped answering calls. Chairman Zeth walked to the center platform alone. His tall body moved slower than before. His 6 eyes looked tired. He did not bang his staff for attention. There was no need. The few delegates who came sat quietly. They waited. A single small drone appeared in the middle of the chamber overnight. No one saw it arrive. It simply floated there, black and smooth, no bigger than a human head. A tiny blue light blinked once. Then a message opened on every screen and every pad in the room. The same words appeared in every known language. Clear, short, final. The United Terran Concordance hereby notifies all former Council entities that human space is closed to non-human traffic until further notice. Any vessel entering without prior clearance will be considered hostile and dealt with accordingly. We wish you stability in your affairs. No demands, no list of punishments, no angry words, just the message. And below it, the simple blue and white seal of the Terran Concordance. No signature, no name. No ambassador to blame or beg. The drone stayed still for 10 seconds. Then it turned. It released a thin data chip that fell gently to the floor. The drone rose, moved to an open vent, and vanished. Delegates stared at the chip. No one moved to pick it up at first. A young Miri delegate named Sira finally stood. She walked forward on quiet feet. She lifted the chip with careful fingers. She placed it in a reader on the central table. More data flowed out. Not threats, not maps of conquest, just numbers. Cold, clear numbers. Human trade volume with former council worlds, 0. Human aid shipments, 0. Human repair teams, 0. Human tourists, scientists, workers, students, 0. Then the reverse numbers. Non-human ships attempting entry into Terran space in the last 6 months. 1,247. Number permitted, 4. Emergency medical evacuations only. Number turned away, 1,243. Number classified as hostile and destroyed, 0. The last line made many delegates breathe out in relief. Then, confusion. Why not destroy them? A Vexar asked in a small voice. Sira read the attached note aloud. Destruction was not required. Vessels were warned 3 times. They chose to leave. No lives were lost. Chairman Zeth spoke for the first time. They could have ended hundreds of ships. They did not. Torv Kal, the old Krellian who once shouted loudest against humans, sat with his crest flat against his skull. His claws rested loose on the table. He looked older, smaller. He spoke quietly. We thought we were teaching them civilization. We made rules, we set limits, we laughed at their ways. He looked up at the empty podium where Elena Vasquez once stood. It appears they were merely being polite. The words hung in the air like smoke. No one laughed, no one argued. A preserver elder named Corvel rose slowly. His crystal body caught what little light remained and sent weak sparks across the floor. We built our strength on their shoulders, he said. We placed our cities in their path because we thought they would never grow fast enough to reach us. We used their doctors because ours were too slow. We used their ships because ours were too expensive. We used their silence because we thought it meant weakness. He paused. It meant patience. Sira looked around the room. Reports from the frontier say their shipyards never stopped. New hulls every day, new colonies every few months. Their population grows, their technology improves. They do not wait for permission anymore. A Vexar delegate clicked softly. Our hives are hungry. Our young go without medicine. Our elders die in empty hospitals. We cannot fix this alone. No one answered. The truth sat heavy on every chest. Outside the chamber, the galaxy kept turning. But it turned differently now. Trade lanes once full of human freighters stayed empty. Stations once bright with human lights went dark at night. Children on many worlds asked why the funny people with strange stories no longer came to teach or play. On a small mining moon near the old neutral zone, a human beacon still broadcast. Not a threat, not a warning, just a simple loop. Terran space remains open to peaceful contact when mutual respect is established. Until then, we wait. The message played every hour. No one knew who recorded it. No face appeared. Just the voice. Calm, steady. Back in the chamber, Zeph looked at the remaining delegates. We must decide what to do next. Torvkal spoke again. His voice cracked a little. We cannot force them back. We cannot threaten them. We cannot even reach most of their worlds without crossing lines they now guard. He closed his eyes for a moment, and hoped they one day decide politeness is worth trying again. Syrah placed the data chip back on the table. Or we can change, she said quietly. We can learn to stand without leaning on them. We can build what we need. We can speak with respect instead of rules. The room stayed silent for a long time. Outside, stars burned steady and cold. Somewhere beyond the dark frontier, human worlds grew brighter. Cities rose. Ships launched. Children laughed in schools that taught old stories and new dreams. They did not celebrate victory over the council. They simply lived, free, unapologetic. And if the galaxy ever wanted to talk again, humans would listen, but only when the words carried real respect. Until then, the silence held, deep, complete. And in that silence, the old council learned the hardest lesson of all. Some powers do not need to shout to be heard. Some strengths do not need to prove themselves every day. And some endings come not with fire and war, but with a quiet step backward, and a door that closes softly.